if you're over 60. I want you to lean in and really listen, because what I'm about to share with you might surprise you. Imagine we're sitting together in a cozy cafe. You've got your tea or coffee in hand, maybe a slice of toast, and I'm looking across the table at you, smiling kindly, because this isn't about scaring you. It's about opening your eyes to something most doctors don't say out loud. We all grew up thinking fruit was the ultimate health food, right? Apples in lunchboxes, bananas after sports, grapes with cheese at parties, watermelon at barbecues. But here's the shocker. After 60, the way your body handles fruit changes. Suddenly, that same sweet bite that once fueled your energy could now be quietly working against your brain, your heart, and your circulation. And here's the part that keeps me awake at night as a brain doctor. I've seen patients walk into my clinic, cheerful and independent, only to end up in the ER days later after a stroke. And when we trace it back, sometimes the trigger wasn't cigarettes, or fatty food, or even stress. It was fruit. Innocent, everyday fruit. Can you believe that? But before you panic and swear off the produce aisle, let me reassure you, fruit isn't the enemy. What matters is timing, portion, and awareness. That's why today, I'm walking you through 6 common fruits and the ways they can become risky after 60. My goal isn't to take away the foods you love, it's to help you enjoy them wisely, so you stay sharp, strong, and steady on your feet for years to come. So ready? Let's start with one of the friendliest looking culprits of all, bananas. Who doesn't love them? They're soft, sweet, easy to peel, no mess, no fuss. It feels almost like nature made them for us. And for most of our lives, they were the good guy fruit. Perfect for kids, athletes, anyone needing a quick snack. But let me paint you a picture. You know when a banana starts getting those brown freckles and that sweet smell fills the room? That's not just ripe, my friend. That's sugar announcing itself. As bananas ripen, starch turns into sugar. It's why an overripe banana tastes like dessert. Delicious, yes. Harmless? Not so much, especially if you're over 60. Here's why. After 60, your body doesn't manage potassium, blood sugar, and blood pressure the way it used to. Your kidneys slow down. Insulin doesn't work as smoothly. Blood vessels stiffen. So that innocent, mushy banana suddenly acts like a sugar bomb with a potassium kicker. Blood sugar spikes. Blood pressure jumps. Heart rhythm wobbles. And you're left wondering why you feel shaky or dizzy. I remember Margaret, 76, retired librarian, sweet woman who loved her morning routine. Every day she'd mash 2 ripe bananas into a smoothie. One morning she woke up dizzy, speech slurred. ER doctors confirmed a mild ischemic stroke. Her labs showed high potassium and spiking blood pressure. Bananas weren't the sole cause, but they were the spark in the powder keg. What changed for Margaret? She switched to smaller, greener bananas. She paired them with a bit of protein, maybe an egg or some yogurt. And this is key. She drank water first. Simple adjustments. Her energy steadied. Her blood pressure calmed. She still enjoyed bananas, but now they worked for her instead of against her. So what's the lesson? Bananas aren't villains, but the spotted, sugary, overripe ones, they can turn on you when your body is more fragile. Keep them a little green, eat them with something else, and never on an empty, dehydrated stomach. Let me ask you, how many times have you reached for a banana first thing in the morning, before water, before breakfast? Think about it. Now, let's move on to grapes. Tiny, juicy, and irresistible, right? They're the snack you set out for grandkids, the easy handful you toss into a salad. They look innocent, but let's be honest. When's the last time you ate just 5 grapes? Not likely. A couple of handfuls, and you've swallowed the sugar equivalent of candy without even realizing it. Grapes are sugar in disguise, glucose and fructose packed into small bites. And here's the tricky part. The sweeter seedless varieties sold today are bred to taste even sweeter than the grapes you grew up with. That means the sugar hits your bloodstream almost instantly. Now in your 20s, 30s, maybe even 50s, your body could shrug this off. But after 60, the insulin response slows, blood vessels thin, and sugar doesn't just vanish, it lingers. And what happens when sugar lingers in delicate vessels, especially in the brain? Inflammation, microscopic swelling, tiny cracks that your body tries to patch with clots. And those clots, over time, can block blood flow. I'll tell you about Evelyn, 79, retired music teacher. She loved her bowl of red grapes mid-morning, every day while reading. 2 cups sometimes. One morning while writing a birthday card, her hand shook, and she forgot how to spell congratulations. A mini stroke, the doctors said. Her labs showed pre-diabetes markers she'd never known she had. The culprit? Her daily grape habit, eaten alone on an empty stomach. Here's the fix I tell my patients. Never eat grapes alone. Pair them with protein or fat, almonds, cheese, even a bit of yogurt. That slows the sugar flood. And avoid them late at night when your body needs calm, not chaos. So next time you see a bowl of grapes, ask yourself, is this a handful of pleasure, or am I about to stress my heart and brain? Pineapple. The fruit that tastes like sunshine. Sweet, tangy, tropical. What's not to love? It feels like a reward after dinner. Light and refreshing compared to cake or cookies. But here's the catch. Pineapple carries 3 hidden risks rolled into one. First, it's high in sugar with a fast glycemic index. That means blood sugar rockets up, especially dangerous if you eat it at night. Second, it's packed with acid that creeps back up the throat silently while you sleep, lowering oxygen to your brain without you even realizing it. And third, it contains bromelain, an enzyme that in large amounts can thin the blood. Now if you're on blood thinners or heart medication, you've got a dangerous mix brewing. Clara, 77, choir director. Every evening after dinner, she swapped dessert for fresh pineapple. Sounds healthy, right? But one morning she couldn't walk straight, speech slurred. Hospital scans showed a posterior stroke, balance and memory affected. Her blood tests told the story. High sugar, acid reflux overnight, and altered clotting, all traced back to her nightly pineapple ritual. My advice? Enjoy pineapple earlier in the day. Keep portions small. Never eat it on an empty stomach, and please, never before bed. Because while pineapple feels like a sweet treat, at the wrong time it can quietly chip away at your safety. Have you ever noticed heartburn or a strange cough at night? That might not be just age. It could be pineapple or another acidic fruit nudging your brain in the wrong direction. Now let's talk watermelon. 90% water, right? The ultimate hydrator. Perfect for hot days. But here's the irony. Watermelon can actually leave you more dehydrated. How? It's a natural diuretic. It makes you pee. And if you're already on water pills for blood pressure, you're doubling the effect. Eat big slices at night, and while you sleep your body loses fluid. You don't notice, but by morning your blood is thicker, moving slower, like syrup through narrow pipes. Thick blood plus stiff arteries equals higher risk of clotting. The perfect recipe for a silent stroke. Howard, 82, retired postal worker, thought he was doing everything right. He walked daily, avoided sweets. His nightly ritual was 2 or 3 slices of watermelon. One morning he stood up and collapsed. ER doctors found dehydration, thick blood, and a small ischemic stroke. He thought watermelon was helping, but it was secretly pulling water out of him. So what should you do? Eat watermelon earlier in the day. Pair it with electrolytes, maybe a pinch of salt or sip of coconut water to help your body hold fluid, and avoid big servings at night, especially if you're on diuretics. Think about this. Have you woken up with a dry mouth or dizziness lately? That might not be just aging. It could be your evening fruit habits. Finally, let's peel into oranges. Bright, juicy, packed with vitamin C. Your morning sunshine in a glass. But here's the twist. Oranges, and especially orange juice, can mess with your medications in ways most seniors never hear about. The culprit is a compound called furanocoumarin. Big word, but simple effect. It interferes with the enzymes in your liver that process many common drugs, blood pressure meds, statins, even blood thinners. So instead of your medication working properly, your body either gets too much or not enough. That means blood pressure could crash too low. Cholesterol meds could build up, causing muscle pain and brain fog. Blood thinners could stop protecting you, leaving you exposed. Elbert, 79, retired bus driver, loved his fresh squeezed orange juice with breakfast and meds. He called it sunshine in a glass. Over time, he felt dizzy, lightheaded. One morning he collapsed. Tests showed dangerously high drug levels in his blood. His medication dose hadn't changed, but the daily juice had sabotaged his liver's ability to clear the drugs. Here's the safer choice. Skip the daily OJ if you're on medications, or limit to small amounts, and never take it with your pills. If you miss the citrus taste, squeeze a bit of lemon or lime in water. It carries less risk. So let me ask you, do you reach for that cheerful glass of orange juice without thinking? Maybe it's time to rethink the morning ritual. Now let's talk about mango. Soft, juicy, fragrant. Doesn't it feel like a slice of paradise? A tropical fruit that makes you think of vacations, beaches, sunshine. But here's the hard truth. For seniors, mango is sugar dressed in gold. 1 cup of ripe mango carries nearly 45 grams of sugar. That's more than a glazed donut. Imagine eating a donut every day and calling it healthy. You'd never do that, right? But mango sneaks past our radar because it's fruit. Now after 60, your insulin response slows down. That big sugar surge inflames your arteries, especially the fragile ones leading to your brain. The body tries to repair tiny cracks by forming clots. And clots in narrow vessels? That's the recipe for a stroke. But sugar isn't the only issue. Mango contains a compound called mangiferin. Sounds harmless, but it interferes with the liver's ability to process medications, especially common heart and blood pressure drugs. Instead of being broken down and cleared, they build up in your system silently until, bam, your blood pressure drops too low, or your heart rhythm changes, or worse, your brain doesn't get the steady flow it needs. Take William, 83, retired firefighter. He swapped his cookies for dried mango slices every afternoon, thought he was making a smart move, but within weeks his meds overloaded his system, and one morning he woke up with a drooping face and slurred speech. Mild stroke. The dried mango, concentrated with sugar and mangiferin, was the hidden saboteur. So here's the takeaway. If you love mango, don't panic. Enjoy a few bites in the afternoon, pair it with protein or healthy fat, and never eat dried mango like candy. And please don't eat it right before bed. That's when the sugar and liver overload combine in the worst way. Cherries often get a halo because they contain melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep. People think perfect bedtime snack. But let's dig deeper. Cherries, especially the sweet Bing varieties, are packed with sugar. A bowl full at night may calm you emotionally, but physiologically, it's a sugar bomb right before sleep. Your body doesn't burn energy while you're snoring, it stores it. That means sugar lingers in your blood, stressing arteries, fueling inflammation, and raising stroke risk. Another catch, many seniors take pain meds or blood thinners. Cherries contain compounds that can subtly thin the blood even more. Not dangerous for everyone, but combined with medications, it can tip the balance. I remember Sylvia, 72, who loved eating frozen cherries as dessert. She swore it helped her joints, but she started waking up dizzy and lightheaded. Her labs showed low blood pressure and unstable clotting. The cherries, combined with her medication, had quietly stacked the deck. What's safer? A small handful earlier in the day. Pair with a few walnuts or almonds, which blunt the sugar effect and add healthy fats. Think of cherries as a colorful treat, not a nightly ritual. Now, let's shine a light on dried fruits. Raisins, dates, apricots, figs. They look innocent, almost like concentrated superfoods. But here's the trap. When you remove the water, sugar and calories concentrate dramatically. A single date has as much sugar as a spoonful of table sugar. A small handful of raisins equals a candy bar. Yet because they're fruit, people pop them like snacks, especially in trail mix or baked goods. The danger for seniors? Sugar overload, yes, but also hidden potassium spikes. Dried apricots, for example, are extremely high in potassium. Combine that with aging kidneys or heart medications, and you're risking irregular heartbeat or sudden blood pressure changes. I had a patient, Robert, 75, who swapped cookies for dried figs. He was proud of his healthy habit, but his potassium shot up, his heart rhythm went irregular, and one afternoon he fainted while gardening. Luckily, he recovered, but he never looked at dried figs the same way again. So here's my advice. If you enjoy dried fruit, treat it like candy. 1 or 2 pieces, not handfuls, and always drink water with it, because without water, those sugars hit harder and faster. We've talked about oranges, but I can't skip grapefruit. Doctors have known for decades that grapefruit interacts with medications, yet many people still don't get the warning. Grapefruit contains powerful compounds that block enzymes in the liver, the very enzymes that clear drugs from your system. Statins, blood pressure meds, anti-anxiety drugs, all can be affected. The result? Meds that become dangerously strong or totally ineffective. One patient, Harold, 78, was proud of his daily grapefruit breakfast. He thought he was boosting his health. Instead, he kept ending up with muscle aches, brain fog, and erratic blood pressure. The hidden culprit? His grapefruit habit supercharged his statins and blood pressure meds until his body couldn't handle them. So my rule of thumb is simple. If you take medications, skip grapefruit. There are plenty of other fruits that give you vitamin C and fiber without the interaction risk. Now we've walked through bananas, grapes, pineapple, watermelon, oranges, mango, cherries, dried fruits, and grapefruit. You might be sitting there thinking, "Doctor, is there anything left I can eat safely?" And here's where I smile and say, absolutely. This isn't about banning fruit. It's about wisdom. After 60, the rules change. Your body isn't 20 anymore. Kidneys slow down, blood vessels stiffen, medications pile up, so you have to be strategic. Think of fruit like wine. A glass can be delightful and even beneficial, but a bottle? That's danger. The same with fruit. Small portions, earlier in the day, paired with protein or healthy fat. That's the secret. And here's the hopeful part. I've seen patients turn their health around simply by adjusting how and when they eat fruit. Blood pressure stabilizes, morning dizziness disappears, energy returns. It's not about fear, it's about respect. Respecting the body you've lived in for 60, 70, 80 years. So here we are, after a long journey through bananas, grapes, pineapple, watermelon, oranges, mango, cherries, dried fruits, and grapefruit. You've probably heard things today that made you raise an eyebrow, maybe even shake your head in disbelief. Fruit? Dangerous? That bowl of color and sweetness you grew up believing was nature's gift? Yes, in certain circumstances, it can quietly work against you. But here's the important part. Knowledge doesn't take away joy. It gives you the power to keep enjoying life wisely. Think about it this way. Your body is like a house you've lived in for over 60 years. You know its quirks, its strengths, its fragile spots, a door that creaks, a window that sticks. You don't abandon the house, you take care of it. You oil the hinges, you fix the frame, you learn to walk around the soft floorboards. That's exactly what this conversation is about. You're not giving up fruit, you're simply learning where the creaks and cracks are, and how to step wisely. Bananas, grapes, pineapple, watermelon, citrus, mango, none of these are your enemies. They're old friends. They've nourished you for decades. But as with old friends, sometimes you need new boundaries. Too much closeness, at the wrong time, can cause trouble. A little distance, a little timing, and the friendship remains sweet. And here's the hopeful truth. Small changes can have enormous impact. Margaret didn't stop eating bananas. She switched to greener ones. Evelyn didn't abandon grapes. She paired them with almonds. Clara didn't throw away pineapple. She enjoyed it at brunch instead of bedtime. Howard didn't quit watermelon. He learned to hydrate properly with it. Albert didn't banish citrus forever. He simply separated it from his medications. And each of them felt stronger, steadier, safer. That's the beauty of this knowledge. It's empowering, not limiting. I want you to imagine your brain and heart like two loyal companions walking beside you. They've worked tirelessly for decades, never asking for much in return. They've endured stress, late nights, celebrations, grief and laughter. They've powered your memories, your hugs, your words, your every step. Don't they deserve the best care now? Every bite you take is a way of saying thank you to them. And fruit, when eaten with wisdom, is still one of the most beautiful ways to nourish yourself. A crisp apple in the afternoon, a handful of blueberries with breakfast, a slice of mango shared with your grandchild. Food is not just fuel, it's connection, it's comfort, it's culture, it's love. And with the right knowledge, it can also be protection. So don't walk away from this video with fear. Walk away with confidence. Confidence that you now know how to spot the hidden traps. Confidence that you can adjust, experiment, and find what works best for your unique body. And most of all, confidence that your best years are still ahead, because health isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving, laughing, traveling, and waking up every morning with energy to greet the day. And if you ever feel discouraged, remember this. You've already made it through 60, 70, maybe 80 years of life. That takes resilience, grit, and wisdom. If your body could carry you through all that, imagine what it can still do if you give it the right care now. That's the gift you give yourself when you make small changes with big impact. So here's my final invitation. Share this knowledge with someone you love, a friend, a spouse, a sibling, because how many people are sitting at their breakfast table right now sipping orange juice with their medications, completely unaware of the silent risk? One simple conversation could protect them. Be that voice. Spread the awareness. And if you found value here, join our community at Health 365 by subscribing, not just to support us, but to keep learning, to stay connected, and to remind yourself every week that you are not alone in this journey. We're in it together, me, you, and thousands of others, choosing awareness over ignorance, health over habit, protection over risk. So go ahead, pour yourself another cup of tea. Look at that fruit bowl with wiser eyes. Smile, because now you have the knowledge to keep enjoying it, safely, joyfully, confidently, and most importantly, carry this thought with you. Your brain, your heart, your independence, and your joy are worth protecting, and with small wise choices, you absolutely can.